I'd like to call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
President Byrne?
Here.
Trustee Hebda?
Here.
Trustee Schultz?
Here.
Trustee Marquardt?
Here.
Trustee Cook?
Here.
Trustee Schwartz?
Here.
Trustee Williams?
Here.
We have a quorum present. Would everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, first item is there any citizens that wish to address the board tonight? On anything other than what's on committee of the whole? So is this separate from what's on committee of the whole? Well, then you'll be recognized then. So the board meeting comes first, then we go to committee of the whole. Okay. Anybody really want to address the board right now on anything that isn't on committee at all? Okay. All right. Official reports. Reappointment of Ed Kabot to the Police Pension Board for a term expiring April 30th, 2017.
Motion to approve?
There a motion?
Second.
Motion is second. Comments or questions? Roll call.
President Byrne?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Marquardt?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Motion carries. How's he doing now? I mean, didn't he have some?
Rotator cuff, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, okay. Yeah.
He'll be back in 6 weeks to pitch for that.
Yeah, right, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Cubs.
All right. Next item is the omnibus vote agenda. Items A through Q. Is there a motion to approve?
So made.
Second.
Motion is second. Any comments or questions or anything need to be pulled for a separate vote? If not, roll call, please.
Trustee Marquardt?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay. Unfinished business, approval of Kemper voucher list of bills dated April 21st, 2015 in the amount of $10,026.16. Is there a motion to approve? So you so move?
I so move.
Okay.
Second.
Motion and second, comments or questions? Roll call.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz?
Abstain.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Marquardt?
Aye.
And for the record, I'd vote aye. Motion carries. Okay, B, under unfinished business, approval of the April 8th, 2015 Village Board meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion and second. Any comments, questions, deletions, or corrections? If none, roll call, please.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Marquardt?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. New business communication. Does anybody have any communication? Because we got one more item we got to work on. Trustee Cook.
Two things. Dave, since we have press here, I'll bring up what I talked to you about is if we can have IDOT look into, if we can, I don't know, maybe figure out a way they can come out and find out just how bad that piece of road is coming out of by Dunkin' Donuts to go across Milwaukee Avenue. I mean, I know the plan is to just regrind as you were talking about, but that really needs to get fixed. I mean, I drive a van and it comes close to bottoming out. I see cars do it all the time, so we really need to try something with that.
It's been for a long time.
Yeah.
Understood. I'll have a conversation with IDOT and see if we can get that corrected. It's a challenging task that they have
Yeah.
to try to do it, but I'll have that conversation.
What are the undergrounds there, right?
I don't know if the underground is really going to be as large of an issue. I think you have a steep slope of a driveway going into the gutter, and then it's going back up to the crown of the road across two different lanes. So it's just the transition of, one slope into the other, and it's rather abrupt, as Trustee Cook said.
Well, and to add to that, because I know Dave's looked at this, because I've had the Plan Commission ask me this over the years. There's also the short magazine entrance there to the first parking lot there that's in front of Omaha and Duncan and everything like that, which makes that transition even more difficult.
Yeah.
And coupled with the elevated site that you have adjacent to the road. So there's a whole bunch of things working against you to be able to do anything there. So it's.
Are they planning on doing the new entrance between, on the border and Jason's as part of this project, or is that going to be something
I
separate?
think that's separate, right?
Yeah, that's a separate thing. They're not.
Because that would be
couldn't-
looking into the same kind of thing we're
not
talking
doing
about, so.
The entrance drive is just simply a private project, is my understanding, Dave? And there's no work on Milwaukee in connection with that, except for the deceleration and acceleration lanes, but it's a privately funded project.
There's a deceleration lane leading into that proposed project. In
I was
terms-
just wondering if they were trying to coordinate, I mean, I know that's a dumb thought that you'd coordinate these construction projects, but that's the only reason, I knew it was a private project, but I was just wondering if they were trying to coordinate it.
Yeah, we're still, I'm sorry, but we're still having trouble getting them nailed down on when they're gonna start their project, and they are getting held up with their IDOT permit, so I'm not sure if those two projects would be able to meld together, but it's certainly something we can look into.
Okay.
In terms of the specific driveway and the slope you were talking about, we did work with Dick's as part of their redevelopment of the overall shopping center. They did lower the private side as much as they could to try to, reduce the slope and reduce the problem. And like I said, I'll talk with IDOT on it. Right now, their plan is just to grind and overlay. They'd have to do some major reconstruction to affect a lot of change, but let me have that conversation.
And the other thing I just wanted to mention, last night I attended a meeting at Highland Park Country Club sponsored by the Village of Highland Park about the new Lake County Anti-Bullying Initiative. They had an extremely impressive 5-member panel headed by Attorney General Madigan. And they're trying to get what appears to be a really, really good program they're doing down there, getting it going in conjunction with some of the other programs that some of the schools and communities are doing to make it a full-fledged Lake County initiative. And it was an excellent meeting and very informative, and I will be following up on it. And hopefully at some point we'll be able to, as a board, get involved in trying to join this initiative. So.
Cool.
Okay. Any other communication to come before the board? If not, we got an item, approval and passage of resolution 2015-066. Resolution granting to operate an outdoor special event for Westfield Hawthorne Mall located at 122 Hawthorne Center. What is this for specifically?
This would be in connection with the AMC movie theater grand opening, which
Oh,
is
okay.
still scheduled for May 1st. The idea with these food trucks is, and there'd be 5 of them that would be stationed in the area
Oh.
of the AMC theater. With the restaurants that are planned for the area below the theater not yet open, the food trucks would provide a food alternative for customers using the theater. There would also be representatives from Westfield there promoting what will be new restaurants, new permanent restaurants. So for this event, the trucks would be there May 2nd and May 3rd, and the hours of operation for both days would be 12 p.m. to 4 p.m., and that's the extent.
And that's what, a Saturday and Sunday?
That's correct.
Yeah, okay.
Have we heard anything more about additional restaurant names besides the B and Z?
There's Westfield representatives that are here that maybe they could answer that in better detail for you. We've heard of BZ's Twisted Cuisine, and there's another restaurant, Tichano's, I believe is what it is,
Yes,
George?
yes.
Maybe you could talk about that one.
These are restaurants that are planned. We don't have drawings on them yet, but they will be submitting to the village for permits. But the only one that's moving forward now is BZ's. And then there will be others named in the future, but, there's leases and stuff to be signed.
And BZ that's the sports bar and grill out of Pittsburgh, right?
Yes.
Was Epic Burger going to be coming in and now they're not, or that was?
I'm
never
sorry, which
confirmed?
one?
Epic Burger? I thought we talked about
No,
that before.
no, I don't believe so.
What was the cuisine on the other one?
Was that?
Tucano's?
Yeah, Tucano's, yeah. That-
Italian?
Yeah, it was like a steakhouse, yeah. And that one is moving forward also. So most of these probably be open late summer into the fall, but they'll be open this year, at least 2 or 3 of them,
Okay,
so,
thank you.
okay.
Okay, there's a motion and a second?
So it's a motion.
There isn't a motion or a second, huh?
No, there's not. It's-
So moved.
So is there a second?
Second.
Just for clarification,
Yeah.
the motion is to approve the ordinance attached to your packet approving the special event. I'm sorry, the
2 days.
resolution.
All right, does the first and second agree?
Yes, for the 2 days, yes.
Okay.
I have a question.
Question, trustee Williams?
I know there's separation from where the food trucks are going to be in the parking lot. Do you know if there's going to be like picnic tables or anything like that set up out there?
There
There will
are.
be, okay,
There'll be tables out there for people to sit at.
okay.
But
Thank you.
not in the parking lot.
No, not in the parking lot, they'll be up on the cement walk.
So it'll be tables
Yes,
and then chairs?
yes,
Good, that'll encourage people to come.
yeah, right.
Great, thank you.
No benches or anything?
Yeah, yes, there are some benches.
I don't care. I don't really care. I don't care. Okay. All right. Okay, now we got a motion and a second. Any further comments or questions? If none, roll call.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. All right, is there a motion to, do we have to bring anything back off this agenda?
No, sir.
No. Is there a motion to adjourn the board meeting and go to committee of the whole?
Subject to also going to closed session afterwards. So
Well,
moved.
After committee of the whole. To discuss, what, everything?
Personnel litigation.
Personnel,
And land acquisition?
land acquisition, and.
And litigation?
Ongoing litigation.
Well, so that's the big three.
It's the trifecta.
It's the trifecta.
All right, but that, we're going to committee of the whole right now, because there's people here that want to speak on stuff. Okay, roll call.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz? Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, I'd like to call committee of the whole meeting to order. First item is approval of committee of the whole meeting minutes of April 8th, 2015.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion is second. Comments or questions, corrections, deletions? If none, roll call.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Motion carries. Item 2, request for an outdoor dining and seating establishments permits for Firehouse Subs, 325 North Milwaukee Avenue, Suite 250.
Thank
Are the
you.
reps here from there or not?
They are, Mr.
Okay, sure. Might as well get some airtime.
How you doing?
Okay.
Good.
And who are you now?
I'm Steve Enriquez, one of the owners of Firehouse Subs.
Yeah, okay.
With their request, they're simply requesting 3 tables with a seating capacity of 6 customers. The tables would be immediately in front of the restaurant, pushed up to the front face of the restaurant. That would leave a 5-foot wide pedestrian walkway between the edge of the tables and the curbing, so there'd be enough room for pedestrians. And as the board is aware, this establishment doesn't serve any alcohol. So for tonight's meeting, if the board believes this request is appropriate, then a motion directing staff to prepare a resolution approving the outdoor dining establishment is recommended.
Any comments or questions from the board? What's the width of the sidewalk there?
The sidewalk is 7 feet, and the tables are 24 inches in width, so at least 5 feet of clear space for pedestrians.
All right, so these are going to be up by the windows and
Correct.
such?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because I mean, people, pull in there and stick the nose of their car, into the sidewalk. Right?
Yeah, it's,
Some, we have other food establishments there as well that have the
Yeah, I
tables
know.
out there as well.
I go
So,
to Chase there.
yeah, exactly, right next to Chase.
I don't
so-
go to the vitamin store. All right, so with that said, okay, any other comments or questions?
Motion to direct staff to provide the necessary documentation to create an ordinance to allow the 3 tables, 6 chairs.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay,
Thank you.
yeah. You're not a fireman, are you? I am not. Yeah, okay.
Founded by firemen.
Yeah,
There you
okay,
go.
I'm
There
just,
you go.
just asking. Okay, 3 Central Partners LLC, concept presentation of plans for Uncle Julio's Restaurant with certain improvements of the former Weiss office building at 850 to 870 North Milwaukee Avenue. Basically, this is at the northwest corner of Route 60 and 21.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Anybody here? Really? Okay, well then we'll jump to something else. Okay, we'll jump over that. 4 Cook Memorial Public Library District 701 Aspen Drive. Boy. Consideration report and recommendations from the Planning and Zoning Commission regarding various items, including the proposed site and landscape plans and amendment to the special use permit to allow development of a parking lot and related improvements on Lot 2 of the Cook Memorial subdivision. Who's here on this one? 2 people, huh?
People, 2 of you.
Okay, I know who you are. Who are you?
David Archer, Assistant Director for the Library District.
And this is,
Scott Hesner with the Hesner Corporation.
okay. All right, does the board have any comments or questions on this, or staff? No.
Well, it was, well,
Everything's hunky-dory?
we're still in ongoing discussions with the library and the Park District with an agreement on the appropriate maintenance of the parking lot on Lot 2 that was made a condition of approval as part of the Planning and Zoning Commission.
So I believe it's the licensing agreement that went to our board tonight. They're actually having their monthly meeting, so they'll be discussing that as well. Our attorney and the village attorney have been in discussion regarding that document.
Bob Kenny, that,
Yeah, right.
okay, so were we,
We are close on agreement. We're dealing with 3 entities, us, the Park District, and the Library District,
Sure.
and we're trying to mesh the interests together so that, I guess for lack of a better term, we're trying to make sure everybody understands that the village owns the land, and we control the land, and we will do that going forward, that the expectations that have been set forth by this board are that both districts will work together on the long term for a long-term plan, and that the agreement also acknowledges that the library is investing to do this first phase of improvements, and that they may very well come back for another phase before the Park District may be ready to do something. So it's really trying to work these interests all together and make sure everybody is at least somewhat comfortable with the fact that they're going to be ultimately linked together long-term on this lot.
so do we want to take action because this won't come back till May?
Yeah, I think we're ready tonight to make a recommendation on drafting the ordinance, if you're comfortable. I will have, we're going to continue to work with them, and I don't anticipate we're going to run into any other problems. I'm meeting with Bob on Thursday to go over the final comments, and we'll have a couple of cleanups to send back to him, but I think we're good with the agreement.
Is that your sense, too?
That's my sense too. I think both attorneys have been busy, and I think it's just been the past few days that they've had a chance to really sit down and discuss it, so I'm optimistic as well. Speaking on behalf of my director and board.
So why is your architect here then?
Just in case you had any questions
Is-
regarding the physical nature of the project.
Really? Okay.
That's good.
Does anybody have a question? Yeah, trustee Williams.
Mine's more a comment than a question. I'm quite surprised that we're at this junction and that agreement hasn't been met yet. I mean, that was a part of the original discussion, so you had to know it was coming.
Correct, Trustee Williams, that we received the licensing agreement just several weeks ago, so our board and attorney have not had a chance to look at it until just over the past week.
Well, I don't have a problem with continuing with our resolutions as presented before us, and certainly I would make that motion to approve it contingent upon the signing of that agreement between the three entities.
Second.
Thank you.
I think,
Any addendum to that?
just to clarify, I think
Yeah.
what likely will happen is that they will come together. The ordinance will come together for this, and the license agreement will be at the same meeting for you all to finally approve. So they'll time up, and they understand that it's all got to sync up, so that's what'll happen.
All right, so we got a motion and a second. Roll.
Is there a plan to let bids at some specific date?
Thank you for that. There is, actually, and what we were hoping to be able to do is get approval for the physical nature of this project and pursue bids publicly, not necessarily, and building permits also at the same time, not necessarily starting the project in a physical way, but at least gathering the bids and being able to select a contractor while this resolution is getting resolved.
Date being?
We would like to, it could be as soon as this Friday, it could be next week, because the documentation is complete and ready to go. And the notice has been given for a public bid, so it's after the 15-day requirement, and it has another 30 days. We have to get this done within that time period.
What's this gonna cost, this project?
This project,
70, 80 grand?
no, it will not cost 70 or 80 grand.
More,
Yes, it will cost more.
because you're involved?
No, not, if that's a compliment, if that's a compliment, we will take that.
Okay. Mr. Soft Cost, right?
I love it.
No,
You're soft cost, you're considered soft cost.
yes, and it's a very high-quality soft cost, thank you.
Yes.
All right, okay, so what, pray tell, is it gonna cost the library for this site?
This project will likely exceed $500,000.
You're close. That's what I was going to
That's
say.
the spirit, okay. All right, everybody clear now? All right, roll call.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Dave, you concur with that number? Or you left out of this one?
I think he's in the ballpark.
I think it's going to be about
Are we
120.
acting as the
Yeah, it's like
engineer
you
on
said.
this project?
Using the baseball.
To be determined.
Okay. All right, so it could cost us something?
No, it's not supposed to cost us anything.
All right.
That was part of our first conversation. We don't pay anything.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
This one, we're not paying for.
All right, we're going back to Centrum. Are they here now or no?
Yeah, they're here.
Okay. We're going back to Uncle Julio's.
Uncle Julio's. I thought they were here. Oh, there they are. Here.
Thank you for your patience in coming back to us. We tried to squeeze in a little chicken saltimbocca at Philly G's. My fault.
Really?
It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. My name is Larry Powers. I'm with Centrum Partners. Would you like me just to begin and walk through the presentation here?
Yeah, it's all PowerPoint?
Yeah, it's all PowerPoint. Howard, maybe you can guide here.
Well, here. This is approximately, what, 8,000 square feet?
Right.
And it's going to be on the westernmost corner facing 60?
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Okay, and what's the primary concern with the exterior elevations of this building? I mean, cutting to the chase with the board. Does anybody want to speak to that?
Parking is huge.
Well, parking they can valet.
Where are they going to put them?
Next
Gonna
slide.
put them on top of each other, apparently, you know. It's
The
LA.
variance is for what, like 200 and some vehicles we're trying to variance
I'm talking
here?
about the building, though, you know.
Oh, I'm talking about the whole thing.
You want to-
I don't want to approve one portion without realizing how it's going to affect the rest of it.
Well, that's okay.
Thank you.
All right, well. Okay, I was,
He was asking if we'd like the building.
The building, no.
okay.
I don't like all the mishmash in colors.
All right, well, all right, that's a good thing. Then,
That's a good
see, there's a starting point.
Okay.
So what color, here, go
Well,
back
I
to
like
the-
that. Go back to the other one.
This one,
No,
The first one.
The other one?
The original,
on the angle?
don't like that either.
Not on the angle?
The solid building,
the,
I don't care if it's brick or if it's gray, but you got brick, you got something over here that's yellow. Anybody see that?
It's,
Yeah, it's
And then you
yeah,
got this
the
going
awning,
around
yeah.
here, and over here is pink. And
Well, the
Lord knows
phone-
what the other one's gonna look like.
The
I don't know.
phone is, what, who is it?
T-Mobile.
Oh, yeah, it's okay. He said unknown, you said T-Mobile.
It's okay.
Fine. All right, so, but we know Uncle Julio's.
Right.
Now, okay, this is a different, a
Yes.
little bit different than Old Orchard, right?
Correct.
Wasn't
Old
there,
Orchard was primarily blue.
yeah.
Yeah.
What would, you don't have any samples, right?
No, we don't have any material samples for this
That's all right.
presentation.
Well, with that said, that's okay.
Well, Uncle Julio's looks like it's brick. Is it brick?
Well, it's
The
gonna
facade
be,
outside?
you're not changing.
Could be a mix of
there, right?
ephes and stone panel, and there's probably going to be some masonry as well.
Yeah, they are changing it. Doing something to it. I don't know what.
here, do your quick, see this? And then see.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it here.
I take it the bank is
That one?
going adios?
That one.
We have negotiated a termination agreement with the
All right, we
bank to
got,
allow for
trustee
this.
Cook's got a,
One side?
In staying with what has been, what trustee Williams was talking about with the building,
Looks a little bit.
It's cheap.
are you locked into the fact that the two retails have to have a different face than the phone? I mean, because that's kind of out of character for what we've done throughout the
Okay.
village. I mean, I don't so much mind the restaurant
It's
being
something
a
we're,
slightly different face, but when we've got a retail building that has 4 or 5 different looks of architecture and
too many
different-
personalities for you.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
The answer to the question is no.
Because it just in my mind, in looking at the building, if it was more unified, and then Uncle Julio's be separate,
Okay.
I don't have a problem with that.
Consistent.
We can work with that.
I mean, with the other two retail uses.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, even if you made one whole side like one color. I don't know.
So I'm going to go back
Like
to our original, this is what we presented
That was
to
the
you last
original,
year.
right.
Yes,
You would like to see something more,
something like that, and then if Uncle Julio's is separate, that
okay,
doesn't bother
we
me.
can work with that.
If you, could you go
Some of it's
forward
separate.
to, I think it's the third one, which is the side, right there. A thought is if you kept the brick formation
Bring it to the east.
and the front, you're still carrying the gray to the top.
Right.
Where the retail area is, make that the same where the phone is, and then possibly carry, you'll have two colors, but they're tied in together.
Something like that, yes.
Well, yeah, you know, wait, hold on a second. If you look at the bottom, what is that, brick, the clay color, the beige color at Uncle Julio's?
Right, that's
Is that a stone?
masonry or stone.
Okay, and that's similar to the retail next door, which is kind of like piping around the windows and all that?
Right.
You just saying right, or you?
No, that's a
Right, am I
metal.
actually right?
No, you're right.
Okay.
You are right.
All right, fine.
It's a metal panel system
Okay,
around the.
well, you know, yeah, I mean, this is gonna take on its own character, because that's probably the biggest user on the first floor,
I
right?
agree.
Because, I mean, it fronts on, you know, two parts of the lot, right?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You know,
So am I hearing that the retail, try to make it uniform in material and look? It will be multiple tenants, but we won't quite break it up as much as
Right.
we have.
and then the brown, you know, is what do they call it, a pergola or something?
Yeah, it's a trellis. It's like
Oh, a trellis, okay. So that's where you put the heaters and all that stuff,
Right.
and, you know, that's for outdoor seating. Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, anybody can go take a look at Old Orchard, and it's a little different, right? Is it?
It's a lot different in the sense that the blue is, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, the main entrance, is that
Yeah.
the exact same?
Theirs is more on a corner, I feel. It's more of a corner entrance. And we have some representatives here from Uncle Julio's who might be able
Right,
to
right,
speak to
right,
that.
right.
But I believe it is a corner entrance.
Okay. So, and,
That's one.
yeah, believe me, you know, here, what, you know, why don't you, do you want to see what the inside looks like? Or you want to just stay on the outside?
Was it the same, pretty much the same as,
This one.
It's,
Where'd
yes,
you go?
or Old Orchard?
Yeah, it's pretty nice on the inside.
right.
You know, is that kind of the same?
Yeah, I'm going to turn it over to Shane.
My name's Shane Bostic. I'm the architect from
Right.
Julio's, from Hammers and Partners in Dallas. Old Orchard is going to be much different than this store because Old Orchard was an existing building that we modified to be the restaurant. So many of the features that are on Old Orchard were existing conditions that were either applied to or manipulated in some way. This particular project is a much cleaner canvas than that one was. So a lot of the geometry will be much simpler, much more contemporary than some of the things of Old Orchard. But the Old Orchard interiors will be the basis for the interiors of this restaurant. That's the new,
So this
kind of new
picture
brand.
that we're seeing on our screens right now
Yes.
is,
That was the former entrance to the Wild and Green, the failed Wild and Green of the Westfield Mall at Old Orchard. That was modified and became the patio, outdoor seating patio for the Uncle Julio's at Old Orchard.
but that is similar to what's there now.
Yes, that's exactly what's at Old Orchard now.
Okay.
We'll pick up some of the elements, the cast stone elements, the lighting elements, the signage. You can see some of the planters, the custom railings. Some of the pieces are there that we'll build from, but much of the geometry you see there was existing conditions.
Right.
And the color palette is rather dated to the new brand now. This particular project was started somewhat in the transition phase. So the exterior of Old Orchard represents
The palette?
part of the older look for Uncle Julio's.
Okay.
We're going to move into more of a more contemporary type color palette. Now, the oranges, the blues,
Yeah.
those types of colors, we're not really going to use those moving forward.
Okay, trustee Schultz.
What's on the second floor? Northwestern is going to be above it, or is the restaurant going to have additional space on the second floor?
Let me skip to the floor plan here, trustee. You're right on both accounts. Northwestern is going to be on the second floor, but on the north side of the property. Above this space, it's a mix of decommissioned office to alleviate some of the parking concern, and removed second floor slab. So we're tearing out a couple thousand square feet of floor slab to create a grand entrance for Uncle Julio's, kind of at the bar setting, some taller, clear height space.
Okay, so basically, the Uncle Julio space, there will be no second floor space above it.
In the very front of the space, so this is a floor plan of the first floor.
Right.
And the first bay of their space, as much of all, we could remove as much as all of that to create a grand space. We wouldn't remove
Okay.
the entire 8,000 square feet of the second floor,
And the
but
remaining two-thirds?
would remain as office or decommissioned space. We're still deciding where the decommissioned space will be located. But we've committed, as you know, to 4,000 feet.
The purple on the north is where Northwestern.
Yeah. Okay.
And what the bank's doing is up in the air.
Bank's moving to Liberty Village.
Yeah, the bank would be leaving the property as part of this proposal.
Then with regard to your dining experience this evening, did you have a chance to talk to the proprietor there?
We did not.
Okay, because he's had some misgivings about his current parking situation and his need for valet, in that he feels as though a significant number of customers do not like to leave their car with others, and therefore he's not maximizing his table space because he is forced into a valet situation because of the over parking that we have at Town Center. At least that's what he's expressed on numerous occasions to me and others.
And then he thanked you for building the parking lot, right?
I think that the reason we're here today is because Uncle Julio's has operated a valet, and they do at their Lombard and Orland Park. And at dinner tonight, we were talking about how their Lincoln Park location has only 40 parking spaces. And just, these guys, you know, are very experienced in.
Lincoln Park's a different animal
True,
than
yeah.
Vernon Hills. So I just, so you're, then I guess I'm looking, even though you're the architect, you are the owner's representative here?
We do have owner's representative as well.
Well, can we have an owner's representative then?
We do.
Yes.
Are you comfortable with?
You want to
this
state
market
your name,
system?
please, for the record?
How you doing? Robert Latham from Uncle Julio's Corporation.
Okay, are you comfortable with this location requiring this level of valet service?
We are. We have, we've been in business for 28 years, and we have several other locations that we valet, mostly on part-time, one on full-time, but we're comfortable with the amount of parking that's provided.
Okay. And you're comfortable with the fact that some valet places don't get the total amount of throughput that, because people shy away from valet?
We do, with the amount of parking that we have described here, we know that the valet companies have already looked at our other sites. The most parked valet cars at our North Avenue store downtown, which has been there for a little over 21 years. And there's certain times of the day we'll allow them to self-park. So if lunch is slow on a Monday or something, we'll let them self-park, but primarily it's valet, you know, and especially on weekends, it's 100% valet.
Do you have like a risk manager that works for your company? Kind of?
We call them jack of all trades.
Insurance guy, in-house?
Our corporation consists of over 40 people,
All right.
all the way from our CEO,
So
CFO.
you know what a bailman is?
Kind of, sort of.
Well, when I hand my keys to that valet, if he doesn't have the right coverage, you better,
Yes.
okay?
But
'Cause you're in charge of my car right then and there, you know?
Yeah, we have an entire operation team that understand valet. Our CFO, which is involved in a valet. Our executives at our office that are involved in insurance understands valet.
Yeah, you know what I
So
mean, yeah, I mean.
It's, you know, and that's, we not only pride ourselves in our food, but on our operation side, which includes valet. There's, I can say that, you know, we're hands-on, we're an operation that's hands-on. Been around for 28 years. I've been with Julio's for 26 years. We are involved in the design, operations, all the culinary side of our business, so we're, I don't like to knock chains by no means, but sometimes chains have people that come and go and don't have the interest that we have in our operation. It's, you know, whether there's a minor situation in parking or a major situation in parking, you know, we take care of it, you know, because we're concerned about the repeat of business. If you do come and there is a parking issue, valet issue, theft issue, accident issue, you know, we have to deal with it, and we do firsthand.
Sure. Trustee Cook?
So you've worked out the cross easement agreements to use?
No,
Not yet?
this is a completely,
Who are you, is the portion of the lot you're looking at Westfield or Sears?
would be Westfield, but they're really all the same because of their REA agreement, which every department store is party to. So one owner can't do something with their parcel without approval of other owners. I've personally read that agreement.
Okay.
For that center, and they're all the same, though. And so it's not necessarily just Westfield, but it would be Westfield would have to go to Macy's or, you know, Federated.
Because Westfield couldn't encroach on Sears' parking when they were,
Precisely.
you know, building the movie theater, so.
Right, in that case,
Is
that
the
was,
AMC guy still there? He's gone?
I think he's gone. yeah.
Westfield is here.
Westfield.
Yeah, well, you know,
No, that was the reason I was wondering if it's.
Right.
If there's a specific, entity that's creating a, that's
well,
not
I
sure
was,
they
I
wanna
was
do
gonna
it.
say, Tam, anybody could correct me if I'm wrong, but if somebody's at the mall and they decide to park, on the other side of Ring Road because this lot is full, nobody's putting a hook on them.
Well, that was my point. that-
Are we sure? That's my only point.
Yeah, I mean, but
Well,
the
If
thing
they
is
do,
that
they're not,
person-
to your point earlier, or to Robert's point, they're not going to be a repeat customer, obviously. I mean, I think, we would do whatever it takes to avoid that scenario from happening. We really do, we're approaching this as this is a self-contained site. Uncle Julio's is willing to be obligated by us to operate a valet. It may be just for them, it may be for other tenants, it may be kind of common to various tenants on the site, but, we're gonna do what it takes to keep all the cars on this site.
Well, but the reason I was asking is because perhaps we could help move something along, because the portion of parking lot you're talking about is used so little by the mall itself that I don't understand why they would have a problem.
This has
Until
been
Christmas.
broached. It is hard to comprehend.
Yeah.
Because they're in Westfield Mall. But, that said, now they probably look at you guys as competition.
Yes.
Right.
Perhaps, yes.
You sell food, so do they. So,
I also think it's an act of Congress to amend an REA, and it's a difficult thing for them to do, in fairness.
Is it harder than getting sports betting in Illinois?
It's probably a coin flip, I think.
Yeah,
Equal.
Okay, well, with that said, all right, so what else do we want to chat about here? I mean, the interior, if anybody wants to see all those pictures,
I like it.
Oh,
I mean,
we've seen them already. We've looked at them, yeah.
okay.
It's a very
Well,
very nice restaurant.
What are we
I
looking
can say
for
that.
here? Then a motion to approve it under certain,
Well, what we'd be looking for is direction for them to begin the technical review process. They are seeking several variations, including parking, potential sign variations, as well as a full liquor license, which requires special use before the Planning and Zoning Commission. So
Yeah.
what we're looking for is direction from the Committee of the Whole to have them move forward with technical review.
Go ahead.
okay. And Kevin doesn't give the speech, so he doesn't have to give it, right?
Oh, he's got it memorized too.
Okay, Kevin, give your little,
It's not work.
Keep in mind that this is for concept review only, and it's not the discussion tonight is not binding on the village and does not take the place of the formal review process.
So that means we could scotch this,
If you could bring back when you go further your color redesigns of that retail area, that would be beneficial too.
Okay.
Yeah, that. And I'd like to see that agreement. with the
Sorry, what was
parking.
that?
I'm still concerned about the parking, so see what you can work out with that. But the restaurant, like I said, is very nice, and I agree with Trustee Abder, we need to do something
Just to about
see
the
it,
facade. Just to see what it looks like.
Yeah, it's way too
The
busy.
other facades of where you've got that yellow retail and the red, if you could
All right.
encompass those.
So is there any other comments from the board, the committee, germane to them going now into technical review?
Go forward.
Move it.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
you can, yeah, all right, guys.
Thank you.
Take care. All right. Next item is the Illinois turnaround agenda. Let me get the Illinois turnaround agenda. I put this on the agenda because it came to us, and, it's something that has to have some discussion. It doesn't have to have a lot. There's no resolution that's going to be voted on tonight unless I'm speaking out of turn here. There's an awful lot of information in this document that I feel compelled to say we have absolutely no control over. You know what I mean? We're a municipality, and, this authority that's being discussed, I guess in obviously significant detail, it's the charter of the state, So all I know is that I have someone living at home who gave me copious notes germane to the pension reform package, and I'm not even going to attempt to look at how she kind of, blacklined everything, but I got to go to a couple of basic ones. I think this is something a lot of, for example, unions have discussed, and this compounding of 3% COLA, and what was that, on an annual basis, Tom?
Yeah, I think
Yeah, and I don't know where our, unions in town have fallen on that one, And then, of course, somebody said, well, I'm tier 1 and I certainly don't want to be tier 2 on July 1st. For those that understand this is germane to teachers, okay? So obviously this is germane to everybody. I don't profess, as I sit here, to be an expert in going through this document page by page. So, one of the things that I do have, a personal interest in is the workman's compensation section. So, if there's anybody here, that I know that has, a comment on that, I could just say that, it is a, I guess an expense that an employer obviously has to have to operate in this state or any state in the union. Because if you go back 100 years, it used to be nuts because people would get hurt at work and they'd have to sue their employer and prove the employer was negligent, as if it was a civil action, like you're driving a car and some guy sideswipes you or rear ends you. And that stopped because there was too many people becoming wards of the state, And so, they made that, quote unquote, I guess the best way to put it, if it's an obvious date, time, or place and you're in your gainful employment, it's a work comp claim, okay? And it's, it's kind of like, it's just a prove up in that regard. You don't have to sue your employer. You got the Illinois Industrial Commission that controls it, except in all honesty, in my opinion, it's gotten out of control from the lump sum settlement standpoints. And I'm sure there's a lot of people sitting in this room understand that. And you get paid your temporary total disability, your lost wage, okay? You get paid all your medical. You get paid, all your medication, all your physical therapy. And now, you're back to work, but you're still going to get a pound of flesh, from the employer and the carrier. Well, don't think it's just funny money from an insurance company. I mean, that affects your employer because it affects the premium the guy pays, union or not. And so the bottom line is that, they need to step away from the curb on this because there's too many lawyers in this state. Realized going back to 1975 when the rates went boom, 66 and 2/3 your average weekly wage, 60% for permanent partial disability, and all of a sudden they realized, man, I can keep the lights on in this law firm, okay? So it's kind of, gotten to, the pendulum swung way in favor of the employee to a fault. So, it's an incredibly liberal system in this state, so there is some changes that need to be made. So that's one thing, obviously, I'm stating that should actually maybe be looked at real hard. And there were reforms passed back in 2011 that, the arbitrators haven't even adopted yet. They got five items that they can decide upon for picking how you're paid disability instead of AMA guidelines. So in essence, you want to, some companies have actually gone out of business because these expenses have gone so high. Legitimately, there's companies that have left this state. You don't want businesses leaving the state and running across the border to Wisconsin or to Indiana, because that's not good for anybody in this room. Unless anybody live in Wisconsin, I apologize, so. But with that said, you know, that's one of the reasons I brought this up, okay? And we get affected ourselves by our own employees. And we kind of get intimately involved, and we understand sometimes, you know, it's not a real level playing field. So that's all I have to say. And on the pension reform thing, that's all I said was the compounding interest and, you know, the tier 1 to the tier 2, but that's for teachers. So other than that, Trustee Cook.
John, is this model resolution that was part of this whole package, was that put together by downstate, or was that put together by Lake County? Downstate?
Yep.
That's my biggest concern with this whole, it's an incredibly ill-thought-out resolution that the Attorney General has already said just doesn't cut it. Her opinion was rather lengthy and pretty clear on the fact that this is a matter to be discussed at the state level. Whether it's right or wrong is, you know, I personally think it's an extremely bad idea.
You mean the whole document?
No, the whole idea of a right to work zone. Now, please, we're not here.
Document or
Yeah, we're not here.
Well, I just asked, is it the whole document?
No,
I know, that's why I said, what was that for?
The whole concept of the right to work zone stuff is, you know,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Well, yeah.
just, it's not going to fly. And it,
Yeah, I know.
that's the part I'm really, yes, there are some things that need to be tweaked.
Right.
There's no question about that. But, well, see, a lot of people, there's a lot that can still be looked at. According to Business Writer, Business Insider magazine, Illinois' economy ranks 12th in the country, not at the bottom like everybody says. Only 3 of the top 12 states are right-to-work states. And those facts I can show you. So it's not like that's going to turn things around. Maybe if we could find oil like North Dakota did, you know, that would help.
That's going down in Effingham.
Yeah. But the bottom line is, I think it's very well thought out, and the Attorney General has already said that it's not going to fly, and that's her job, so.
Okay. All right. You know, I mean, I guess we're not good. I don't have any intentions tonight to go through this document page by page. You know, the guys that are here from 150, if somebody wants to come up and make a statement, you're welcome to.
I think what you're saying is we don't plan on voting on anything.
Yeah,
We're not going to
trust
vote on
me.
anything.
So, I mean, you heard what I said on CAP. If you want to go after me, that's fine. I can live with that. But if you want to step to the presentation altar here, you're more than welcome.
Just a short.
Yeah, good. No, that's fine. You guys probably drove from someplace other than Vernon Hills, right?
Yes.
That's all right. Anybody from countryside?
We don't.
I'm from Mundelein.
Oh, okay. Well, then you're in the hood.
Yeah, Mr. President, members of the board. My name's Tom Lauman. I live in reside in Mundelein.
Yeah, sure.
My wife is a substitute teacher for the Vernon Hills schools. My daughters both go to Vernon Hills High School.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that this turnaround agenda is more about right to work. That's what they're calling it.
Okay.
And it will put me back in the Stone Age. For my wages and benefits, there's no negotiating power. I would like to see, you know, everybody make an honest living, and that's all I make is a living. I've never made 6 figures. All right? The governor.
Or 53 million a year.
I
know.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I can speak
I've
for
never
the
made.
board here. I don't think anybody's made that kind of money. Period.
Yeah, all right. Unlike the governor's wife, who makes 6 figures now. Doesn't need it, but makes it. I just want to see myself be able to put my kids through college and make a living for themselves. I'm now putting my daughter to U of I this coming year, and it's a big burden, but as a union person, I can take that burden. If I'm non-union, I will not be able to.
I had
Well,
to
you
get
know,
mine
you
and
know,
I wasn't union, honey, I hate
Just
to
out
tell
of
you.
respect for you guys, I mean, I think you're safe.
I do too.
I think the House is still all, 60% Democrat, and the Senate is too.
Yeah.
So this is, this is a document that, came out of the campaign, but with that said, there is something that's got to be done in this state, because we got a real bad case of the shorts.
I agree.
You know?
Yeah.
Everybody knows what the shorts are.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he is cutting programs. He's already cut the Best Buddies program, both my daughters were a part of, and there'll be others, Thank you.
That'll be an interesting spring session, but, yeah, you're welcome.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Frank LaQuarrie. Now I live in Parkridge, but I did live out here in Vernon Hills for a little while. And I've done a lot of work as a union operating engineer in Vernon Hills. And I understand what you're talking about, that there's not going to be any discussion on the right to work issue. But I will say that I find it very interesting that a lot of the discussion that you've had here tonight involved building right here in Vernon Hills, whether it be road work or some of the buildings like Uncle Julio's. Most of those jobs, if not all of those jobs, for a very long time have been done by union tradesmen, union operating engineers, plumbers, etc. Those union employees spent a lot of time, like I did. I've been an operating engineer for 28 years. I spent 4 years as an apprentice. Local 150, along with a lot of the other trades, pride themselves on doing quality work. We have an apprenticeship skill improvement center, second to none in the country. That's what we offer, and that's what we like to continue to offer fine residents of Vernon Hills and other communities. It's not about just whether you're union or non-union. Union members take pride in what we do. We strive, we learn, and I'll be darned if there's gonna be a guy working right next to me who didn't go through the same educational regiment that I did. It's not safe, it's not right, and you folks deserve more. So when I probably won't be here when this resolution does get voted on or discussed, but I just wanted to voice my opinion, and I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
My name is Jeff Peters. I've worked many times in Lake County and McHenry County. I'm a resident of McHenry. I'm a business agent for Local 150. And I think that you guys need to spend some time looking at the Illinois Economic Policy Institute's study on the issues of right to work and prevailing wage and what it does to your community. Because your community has to support itself in taxes. And those tax revenues come from the people that live here in your county, in your village, in your city. And when you lower their wages, it lowers their ability to be able to pay those taxes and the expendable income that they spend in your malls and at the restaurant they discussed tonight and the valet parking. We had one of the best years we ever had last year, 2014. Our average worker made $56,000. Everybody says, wow, those guys, they make a lot of money. $56,000. When you strip prevailing wage and right to work, that means about $6,000 a year that they lose. That means $6,000 a year that they're not going to go out and they're not going to do consumer spending. What they're going to do is they're going to eat and they're going to live in their house and pay for the gas to go back and forth to work, and that's it. So think long and hard and read that study that was done by the Illinois Economic Policy Institute and take a real close look at what really is going to solve the problems in the state of Illinois. Thank you.
You want to give me a comment on that then?
You're referring to Dr. Bruno's?
You got it.
Okay.
Okay, give me, you got the floor. I'd like to hear that.
Sure. Well, you know, there's so many things that are in that policy that talk about, you know, the differences in wages. You know, it talks about the employment, you know, in right-to-work states versus Illinois versus Indiana. The falsehoods that have been put out, you know, by right-to-work people about, you know, the economic gains, you know, because of right-to-work. I'm not going to sit here and quote all of the different percentages. You know, all of those things are within that book for you to review and, you know, take the time, you know, to take a look at them and understand them and understand what that means. And, you know, all of you people are citizens of Illinois. You know, all of you people, you know, are voters, as I am. And I believe this is a state issue. I believe sometimes it's a federal issue. You know, our grandfathers and our great-grandfathers, you know, went after this issue after the Great Depression. They created a middle class in the 50s. They created all of the things that we enjoy today, the 40-hour week, the paid holiday. All these things were done in a sense of creating a middle class. I don't understand why we're at a juncture at this point in time, specifically people like you, put underneath the pressure of trying to make that decision simply as voters of Illinois.
You lost me.
Question?
I have no question. I mean, you know, we told you we're not passing a resolution tonight, and we've always passed our ordinance regarding the prevailing wage.
I understand that.
So, you know, so we've only got about $3 billion worth of commercial and retail development probably in this town, and it's all been built by guys like you in this room.
I realize.
So you know what I mean?
Thank you.
Come on. I mean, Vernon Hills, we like business. We like to build things. We don't have a problem remodeling them. You know, this is a great town, and it's because we've taken the initiative to develop it correctly. So, unfortunately, if anybody in here doesn't think we got a crisis in Springfield, then I don't have anything else to say.
Well,
If you think that's going to just turn around with Madigan and Cullerton and, you know what I mean, and just it's going to happen magically, you know, this is a crisis.
And that's the reason why all of us in this room, even though you're a trustee, a village president, I'm a business representative for Local
Right.
150, these great citizens that are out in the audience tonight, we have to look at the real issues that are going to solve the issues in the state of Illinois as voters.
Yeah, right. Well,
together.
I mean, there's been people that voted for a lot of people just because, you know, they're an R or they're a D. And unions have gone D for forever, okay? And you got a real problem that came to fruition this year.
Well,
But let me clarify something real quickly. Chief, how long have our officers been union now? About 3 years, 2.5, 3?
6.
6?
7.
It's that long?
Yes.
Okay.
Since I've been back.
Just,
We'll be starting our third contract
well,
negotiations
that's
the end
right,
of
it
this
is
year.
third contract, okay.
Yep.
And that was new, that's the first union for any of our municipal employees, and it was not something that was, you know, fought by this board or anything, so just so you understand where we're coming from.
I appreciate it. Thank you again for giving us some time.
Absolutely. We're all in this one together, trust me. You know,
You know, you get this many
you know,
white hairs, 6, 7 years is.
This is a town, just for a record, if I say, I know it's at a minimum, we send $50 million from the 5% sales tax generated from all the shopping in town. It could probably jump higher because we've added, you know, more square footage. So if somebody told me it's now 55 or 60, you know, all our concerns ought to be, what are they doing with that down there? You know, and how is it coming back to create jobs? Because they haven't done a capital program down there for years. And you guys that are 150 know what the capital program is. And that's to do infrastructure and the roads in all those critical public improvements. And so, anyway, yeah, I mean, this isn't, obviously, this has got to be debated on the floor, and, Christ, there's a super majority down there, and maybe nothing's going to happen, and we'll all be crying in our beer 2 years from now. But something's got to happen, because, you can't just keep going out and bonding, writing a bond to pay pensions, and that's what they've been doing. Is that correct, Tom?
That lady.
To pay teacher retirement benefits?
The lady in the wheelchair.
Oh, you're not sure? Okay.
Not yet.
Ever? Okay, go ahead.
How are you?
Oh, maybe it's just
First
other
of all,
employees.
I want to thank you. I knew you guys would come through. That's how Vernon Hills Village Board is like. You also support all us residents. Remember, you did violence prevention?
Oh, yeah, Christ, I know
Couple
who
of
you
years
are,
ago.
yeah.
I look a little
The
different.
bullying, yeah, I know.
Yes, you
Yeah, I
did
know.
that. All of you have always been supportive. So it doesn't surprise me to see that you are not going to pass the resolution today and giving us a chance to come and talk, All of, the last two people who spoke here already
Right.
spoke to the issue. One of the things, the statistics, I have to look at this because I'm not as, can I just hold this?
What are you, pulling up the document?
No.
That's
You
all
know,
right. Oh,
People with the right to work, this law, like in Wisconsin and all,
yeah.
they make $6,000 a year less, 12.2%. And it's according to the statistics, Bureau of Labor Statistics, okay? And as you were saying about Republican and Democrats, D issue, it's not a D issue. It's all of our community issue. And I cannot believe that only the Democrats are poor. I know of a lot of Republicans who are hurting. And they also want, there are middle class who are also hurting, no longer middle class, having to pay and not making the money. What we want, I remember when I first came here, I got sick days. I worked for Baxter, Harvester. Harvester's gone. McCardle broke it. I worked for Abbott. And, I had vacation days. I had sick days. I had extra days, that's called like extra holidays. I made a good living. I see my children, my friends' children, they cannot make a living. They don't have jobs. They are part-time. So I don't know where the corporations are hurting, because they, with this right to work, they have a right to not give good working conditions. So if somebody falls, they can't sue. The courts are rigged because the lawyers are not taking that. Maybe some are, but what you don't hear about the ones who are out by the waysides. And they are the ones, like, we middle class keep the economy growing, like that other gentleman said. So if we don't have the money, we can't go spend. Our children, they don't have good jobs, and they are living at home. That part I like. I like them living at home. I love it. Okay? Because, but that's not how it should be.
Yeah, I know, yeah, well, you're not in a minority in that one.
And there are Republican Chamber of Commerce who doesn't want this right to work wages law to happen, because they know that with that, they will be losing workforces. So, thank you. For
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. Well, it's nice to see you. Yeah, come on up.
Hey, thank you so much for doing that for me.
Yeah.
And I miss Mike Allison.
Hey, John's okay.
John's doing great.
Hey, he's out in the
He's new, he's getting used to me.
He's out there in the land of medicinal, stuff in Colorado.
No.
I love it. It's here. It's something I can't smoke.
Well,
Good evening, President Byrne, members of the board.
Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
My name is Marty Bodenar.
Yes.
I'm a resident of Antioch for 17 years, Lake County for 35, local 150 operating engineer, crane mechanic, oiler, guy out there on the tollway,
Sure,
making
sure.
sure everything's good, nobody's
Hopefully
getting
Route
unloaded.
53.
I haven't been there yet, but
Yeah, we're
hopefully
working
it
on
comes
that,
through.
trust me.
I'm working on it.
I try to be as brief as I can. I'm my third union. My first one was here in Libertyville, Retailers Foods at the Eagle. We're at $3.85 an hour. I worked as a mechanic, Caterpillar, Patton in Grays Lake, number of years, local 701, and now I'm operating engineer, 150. I just want to say on behalf of myself, my son, who's second-year apprentice plumber, and the rest of our family, we have a choice, a lot of us, to go either to college or to take a trade. That's what we're told to do, one or the other. I did both. I have my college education, and I also have 2 different trades that I worked for. And I stay with the trade. It's good to have a good job for a good wage. By no means am I one of the wealthiest people out there. My dad was a boiler maker until times got tough in the 70s. He was a union electrician after that. The state is in the absolute point of crisis, but the hardworking people and the unions have been around for a lot longer than the state's been in crisis. And it's not necessarily our fault that it got there. We're trying to do our job. If it was mismanaged downstate, I realize everyone is responsible because one way or another, we put those people down there somehow, and for whatever influence that they had, some went horribly wrong somewhere. And it's now a very bitter pill for everywhere in the state to go down. However, with the right to work, what this does, in effect, it is, whether somebody wants to admit it or not, it is a definite attack on unions. And should right to work be allowed to come to fruition in the state, it will, in effect, break all the unions in here. Once you dry up the money that the unions work, it's either corporate or union. They fight each other in politics all the time, lobbying. If you take one side away, that it's like an attorney. It's our voice that we have in government to try for what the working class does. So on behalf of myself and everybody.
Maybe there's one plank in here, whatever, it deals with term limits.
Yeah.
Especially
Yes.
downstate, So you got people that have been there forever,
Yes, absolutely.
Well, yeah.
There are solutions.
And you don't vote for leadership, in either house or, and at this point in time, it's Cullerton and Madigan, been there, especially Madigan, forever. So, I grew up on the south side of Chicago, so I kind of know where his neighborhood is, but, in essence.
If I had a fix, I'd be the first person here and say, hey, I got the magic fix, okay, I got it. Unfortunately, my education does not cover that, and probably no one here can come up with that exact fix, unfortunately.
No, it's tough.
But that's why we have such a variety as we do here. I do know, though, that this legislation should go through, especially in the form that's at, would be very detrimental to those of us in the trades, and there's an awful lot of us. So I do thank you for your time, and I know that you'll follow your heart and the heart of your constituents. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
The guy in the green shirt, well, you can both come up eventually,
Thank you for your time.
And your
Ron.
name, please?
My name's Dave Webster. I live in Lake Zurich, Illinois.
Sure.
And I'm a business representative for IBEW Local 21. Normally, when you hear IBEW, you're thinking electrical workers, but our members mostly work for AT&T.
Sure.
And they live and they work in this community. They have good middle-class jobs negotiated into their union contract, and that's all money that's spent in and around, where they live and work. This plan of Governor Rauner's is really nothing but an attack on the middle class, and right to work is part of that attack. So if we go down that road, what you're doing is lowering the wages for the middle-class people that are able to spend money. Consumers are the job creators, and that's what we've got to keep in mind as we start working through some of these public policies. Do we have problems to fix in Springfield? No one can argue that we don't. But the way to fix them is not off of the back of the middle class, working families, and unions. And I hope we just keep that in mind as we go forward with some of this stuff, not to mention the fact that what they're asking for in this is illegal in the first place. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely. Go ahead and state your name, please.
Good evening, thank you.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm preaching to the choir. My name's Rick Rotman. I live in Gurnee, Illinois.
Sure.
Although I am the direct descendant of Matthias Mason, who moved into Indian Creek in 1834. Maybe you know him. I'm a business representative.
That was good. I mean, we're contiguous to Indian Creek.
He's downstairs in the
He
basement.
might be in the basement.
I'm a business representative for the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, like Dave is, although Local 150, we've been in Lake County 101 years. I'm not going to preach to choir, but I do want you to know, I talked to my mayor in Gurnee. She says completely meaningless and would not address it. That being said, you know that we derive a lot of our money in Gurnee from Gurnee Mills. So she's smart enough, it's spending power. Unfortunately, Gurnee Mills is built usually by a bunch of fly-by-nights, a lot of them from Wisconsin. Well, I still call it Hawthorne Center. Westfield down here, with the exception of 2 stores, I've been a business rep for 8 years, everything is built by us with a living wage and a spending power.
Yep.
And I encourage all Local 150 electricians to shop at Hawthorne Center because they use us and we use them. One hand feeds the other.
Thank you.
So I just thought I'd
All
let
right.
you know
Well,
that.
thank you. I don't have anything else to say.
I have
You
a
know,
question. I have a question for the audience. I'm
Yeah,
just
sure.
curious.
Yeah.
Is anybody here from Vernon Hills? Thank you. One,
Yeah,
two, three, four.
okay.
Great. I know you are, but that was the only one.
My husband and my 2 sons are here.
Yeah, great.
Thank you. Great.
Okay, well, other than that, you want to say something? Okay, fine. Yeah, sure.
I am from Vernon Hills.
Yeah, it's all right.
My name is Tracy Gordon, and I am a Vernon Hills resident for the last 20 years. I'm also a teacher for the last 26 years. I am a 4th grade teacher in Lincolnshire, and I'm also president of the Teachers Association there. And I'm sure this also goes without saying that this whole bill would completely impact the schools in a very negative way. By taking away teachers' collective bargaining rights, you're taking away the voice of those experts that are in the school fighting on behalf of the children every day. So it's not only our rights for wages and insurance and everything else, but we're also there as their voice, as their advocates to make sure that our schools are safe, that they're built safe, that we continue to provide the best education as Vernon Hills always has, right, Mr. Cook? My daughter's favorite teacher, by the way. But that we continue to attract the very best teachers possible, and to retain those teachers requires strong collective bargaining units, voices to speak on everyone's behalf. And without that, you will see your schools decline quickly, as they have in the neighboring states. And I know we moved to Vernon Hills specifically because of the schools, and I know people here care very much about schools. You can just see that as you drive down Town Line. And it is something we are proud of and we want to maintain, so I want to also just provide you with that voice.
Did you have any kids go through to high school?
I have one now who's in college who chose her major because of Mr. Cook. She's a political science
And
major.
where did she go to school?
She's at Drake University.
No, but where did she go to high school?
Oh, Vernon Hills. And my other one is going through the
good.
system now. Yeah, it's a good high school. We want to keep it that way.
Yeah.
Keep those
We-
teachers.
We
there.
like the high school, trust me.
Maintain it.
Only took 5 referendums.
Right, but they passed them because they care.
Well, no, Libertyville wanted to do something crazy, so we kind of intervened.
Tell her thank you.
I'm going to help them out.
Thank you.
That's all.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, my God.
Well, I'm here.
You want to state your name for the record, please?
My name is Prem Wachimakalski. You can call me anything that you want, but my last name is Wadhwani. And I moved to Vernon Hills on May 29, 1975.
You got me by 2 years.
Is there anybody who moved before me in Vernon Hills? Nobody. You see, I'm a pioneer.
Barb and some of us remember.
I'm a pioneer.
I was in Mundelein, trying to get the mall part of Mundelein.
Vernon Hills and cornfields, that's what I've seen. I am ambassador for Vernon Hills. My son lives in Vernon Hills. He moved here 10 years ago. And he told me very precisely that I'm not going to move to Vernon Hills and come and stay where I went to high school here. But he did move to Vernon Hills. I'm the ambassador for Vernon Hills, and I talk high about Vernon Hills, and it's purely because of all of you. Please give them a big hand. This is what Vernon Hills is.
Holy God.
This is what Vernon
But you ought to come to the meetings more often, you know?
Thank you so much.
All right, nice to see you. Okay, is it okay, I'm gonna end the committee of the whole, because we gotta go into closed session to discuss litigation and personnel and land acquisition. So if anybody's got a burning desire to be the last one, I'll respect that, you know. Okay.
Here we go.
Yeah, all right.
One more.
Okay.
Hi, good evening.
And you're?
My name is Lisa Fugina. I am a 23-year resident of Lincolnshire. I am a lifetime member of Lake County, and I think someone here needs to potentially talk about the other side of the story, okay? I pay and have paid extremely high taxes in Lincolnshire so that my children could grow up and go to Lincolnshire good schools. I feel at this point that they are not getting what they deserve in terms of quality education. I think for the amount of money we spend, they should be getting better education. I'm tired of study halls once a day for kids that are not even in high school. I'm sorry, homework should be done at home, not during study hall. And I'm tired of not having a full load of classes. There's a minimum that every state requires in terms of number of hours in a classroom. Why is it that even these great school districts only use the minimum? So I just want to talk about a little bit on the other side of the thing. I see both sides. We have a huge problem in Illinois. I want to see it ended. And I want to see it ended in a fair way. But again, I don't think, again, I'm a working mom. I've been working for, I don't even want to say how many years, 30 plus. And I've been working at organizations that are right to work. I get PMOs every year, objectives every year, performance objectives every year. I get ratings every year on my performance, meets plus, meets minus, underachiever, overachiever, whatever. My raise is based not on a law that's passed, it's based on how well I performed my job during that past year and whether or not I met my goals, okay? I have time off. It's called PTO, paid time off. There's no such thing as vacation time and sick time anymore in these organizations. I get, after so many years of work, 15, 20 days of PTO. That has to accommodate my illnesses whenever I'm ill, my children's illnesses whenever they're ill and I have to stay home, and any vacation time I'd like to fit in to that schedule. So again, right to work. I live in a right to work, or I've been working in a right to work organizations over the 30 plus years I've been employed, and I see nothing wrong with it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, all right, is there a motion to adjourn the committee of the whole and go into closed session? We won't be coming out to discuss or vote on anything else.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion is second, roll call, please.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hibda? Aye. Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Marquardt?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you, and good night.
Thank you.
Oh, my God.